There we go, guys. I'm sorry about that. There seems to have been an interruption in, I think it was the Xbox services. I don't think it was Twitch. Yeah, Xbox kicked me out. Took me a while to get back in. That's the first time I've seen that. Now let me just refresh this page. There we go. But that was unfortunate. My apologies, guys. Yeah, I got kicked out of the Twitch stream for some reason. And it kept saying try again later. And then eventually, when I tried enough times, it came back on. But that was unexpected, you know. Here, let me just make sure I'm on this one here. Going to the live guy. Here, let's make sure. Close the screen on that. Come in on this one. Yeah, that's it. That should do. Yeah, it might have been something got to do with that, but the Twitch, not the Twitch, I think it was the Xbox service. Yeah, it kicked me out. It could have been Twitch. But for a while there, you know, I thought I wouldn't get back on. I kept trying. It just said, you know what I mean, you're no longer streaming. And it would say, you know, when I tried to stream. But I checked my internet, you know, it was okay. I could get into YouTube and stuff like that, so. Yeah, it kicked me out for a little bit. It could be. Yeah, it could have been something like that. And they got something up then. You know, they had some kind of backup plan. It might have been. But it doesn't happen a lot. That's the first time it happened in a long time. Now, okay. Right, let's start selling, guys.
Here's what I can spare.
And my apologies to anyone who was kicked out of the stream. That was beyond my control. Alright. Yeah, we'll soon have all of this out of the way. Then we can get back to questing. I've still got a couple of hours, so it would have been a shame to have to log out at that time and wait for the service to come back. But it has happened, you know.
Here's what I can spare.
Now, let me see. Just one of those nights. Okay. Okay, not much more now. What have we got left? We've got one expensive potion. We'll get rid of it here. And then we're good to go. Oh, hang on. We're on the last guy. We'll hit this one here. Where are you? This guy. You should take the last one. And the worst about that, I'll have to upload 2 streams because of that interruption. And that can be tedious, you know, typing that in.
Here's what I can spare.
Oh well, oh, give me something to do, I suppose. There we go. Now let's get back to Lakeview. We'll sort that out. And then we'll drop that item across. Yeah, there is probably a storm here down the country, but where I am, yeah, I can't really feel any of it. Those guys are pretty rare, so I just need 2 more to complete my little collection.
Someone who can get it's done. I like that.
And we'll see if we can get some of this junk as well while we're here.
Want to hear a little Lord wisdom? You don't really know a woman till you've had a strong drink and a fist fight with her.
There we go. That's a few.
Honor to you, my friend.
Ah, that's not bad. Right, what do we need to get rid of here? Small stuff, let me see. That guy. That guy. Come on. Might as well while we're here. That one, that one, that one, that one, that one. That's about it, I think. The apparel. Yeah, we're good.
What do you need, my thing?
We'll leave the overflow here for a little bit. Save us a journey. There, that's it. We're ready to go. Now, let's do this. Right, okay. Let's give this back. And then what will we do? The Calsammo quest, I'd say. That was interesting enough. Yeah, that will give us a bit to do. And hopefully then cleared up so we'd only have the Dabilla quest and... Let me see, is there another Daedra quest here? No, I think just the Dabilla. Yeah. Then we will be good. It might have been the storm alright, to be honest. You know, maybe some of the network went down. If that's the case, it came on relatively quickly after, so they must have had some kind of system in place.
A fine day to you, friend. Ah, there it is. This little gold delight is going to keep us afloat for a while. Thank you. Here's something for your hard work.
There it is.
I inherited
So
the store
who's
from
this
my
guy?
husband. His father was armed. My husband, Gunnar, died about 5 years ago. Forsworn attack. I miss that stubborn oaf.
Has anyone played that Endro on PC, that Skyrim like game? Yeah. I wouldn't mind playing that. There was an attack
No,
at the
as if
marketplace.
gold wasn't poor enough. Now there's violence in the streets. It was the Forsworn, wasn't it? I lose dozens of shipments every season to those barbarians. Now they're in the city? Gods help us.
That's it. Nice.
Come back whenever you need
Okay. I don't know, is there anything in here worth stealing? I think we tried it already. So that's that. Let me see. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Let's get to Calsalmo. Yeah, it might have been a storm that knocked out something. It took me offline for a few minutes, so Keith. But it wasn't the internet. Yeah, I'm almost sure it wasn't the internet. But for a while I thought I was going to have to wrap it up there. It was probably down a few minutes before I even realised. Oh, yeah, they can be upsetting sometimes, alright.
His father before him.
There, okay. Well, we'll wrap it up with Calsalmo, I'd say. Yeah, we could kind of... Okay, the torch, we'll give it to that guy later. There's a few followers I'll have to fix up later. Just that one guy back there. Oh! There's the date request. There is another date request. But we'll finish with Calsalmo. And then we'll get Anola as our steward. Yeah, that would be cool. Alright, here we go.
I have things to study. What is it? The artifact,
Talk.
spells and incantations.
Okay, we better sell this bow to this guy. There's your bow. Now,
Persistent.
I'd like to see the excavation site. Nice.
Who am I to stand in the way of
Why is the stream over? It broke down. I got kicked out of the stream. Okay, yeah. We don't know, it might have been a storm or something that took something out, but it was up again within a couple of minutes. And then I just continued my stream. It was unfortunate. It rarely happens, but yeah, just the whole thing broke down. The spider is as good as dead.
Here's the key to the dig site.
Okay. Oh, we do the investment in his business. Why not?
Excellent. I think you'll be glad that you made. Thank you. I'll be sure to put it to good use.
There. Now, let's get this one done. Yeah, kill the spider. It's this one here. It's easy enough. Is that guy still hanging around? Yeah, he is. That's the date request. We'll work that one out later. Yeah, but I still have... oh my... we're about 3 hours in. I don't know how long now. Yeah, well, we'll go for another couple of hours. So should be able to get to 6. But no, the stream is not over yet. Just got kicked out for a little bit. Now, this is a dungeon, so we can pretty much take whatever we want, but there's not much to take. I know on the other one back there, there is a skill book. I think there's something down here as well. No, my mistake. Right, let's keep going. Yeah, I just got kicked out. It might be a storm or something. But there's nothing here, but, you know, it might have taken out something in the network, probably. But I would always say goodbye before I end the stream, so, you know, most of you probably realised there was some kind of technical issue. This is totally farmer territory, isn't it? Oh, hang on, let me see. Yeah. Yeah, it's just junk. Ho! Okay. Come here, you. Now, let's see. What have we got? I don't think there's any ore here. There is some further down. We could kind of do with some. Do I really need to be collecting that? Okay, let's go. Aha. Hello. Okay, we can do a little bit on this guy. There. That other guy is pretty big. But we can take him. Aha. This is where we're getting a bit of ore now. But we pick up another quest and we can kind of sort that as well. An Imperial guy, I think light armor, he's got an expedition journal. We could pick up that one and we can finish in this dungeon. Yeah, we're best to just finish here and get done with it. There. Yeah, we totally need this stuff. And my apologies, O'Keefe, for that breakdown. But it caught me by surprise also. Aha. Okay, the biggie's here, and he is big. Big, 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 big. There he is. There. Alright, we can pick up the other quest now. Let's see, is there any more ore? Well, that looks like ore. Huh. Maybe not. Hey now. Here's the guy. There it is, the Lost Expedition. We can go back and hand in that quest. And then we go and do this one. Yeah, it's right through there. It's interesting enough. But it's not far to get back, so we'll get rid of the junk we have. Hand in that last quest and we'll get that expedition thingy done. My God, okay. Oh, hi Dark Rider. And thanks for the raid. Appreciate it. And welcome raiders. And how have you been doing, Dark Rider? And what have you been streaming? Yeah, we just got back online. How long, guys? 19 minutes ago. With some kind of interruption in services. Kicked me out for about 6-7 minutes. I thought my stream was finished then, but it was probably a storm knocked something out. But I had it up and running quickly, so that's not too bad. I've been suffering some... yeah, suffering would be an apt word, alright. Basically, in this, we can only use Imperial weapons and armor, the vanilla stuff. But there's also some other restrictions. We obviously can't buy it, so we've got to craft it. And when I say craft it, the other restrictions, we cannot buy anything that would help our character, like ingredients, ingots, ore, soul gems, everything like that. We cannot buy. We can buy for decoration purposes, like filling cupboards, that kind of stuff. But we can't, do anything for ourselves. So what we've been doing is we've been farming. Outside. Outside, let's say in the dungeons, we can literally take what we want. But outside the dungeons and people's homes and the entire map, we can only pick from containers. Containers being dead bodies also, or pickpocket. The biggest obstacle was soul gems, but we managed to farm enough of those. Yeah. But I decided to put the other ones in. Also, we're not taking followers with us on quests unless it's in the quest already. We're not using any kind of potions unless we're doing some enchanting with it or blacksmithing. And I think that's about it. But all we've got left to do is destruction. So we've done quite well. I've never had to farm dungeons in this before, but it kind of makes it a little bit like Valheim, Dark Rider, where you're really underpowered and you need all this stuff, and you got to keep pushing into dungeons, getting a little bit stronger, and then pushing forward again. It's made it interesting, and of course we're playing on Legendary. No, I have no anniversary edition. Well, I did delete it, but there is still some stuff in here. Some of the buildings are here. All of the quests, I think they're all nearly gone. But there has been some ingredients left with the Khajiit. So I decided to take advantage. I don't know how to properly remove it, so what I did was I uninstalled... first of all, I turned it off. Then I uninstalled the anniversary edition, and the main game, and then just re-downloaded the main game, and it seemed to work. It's hard to get rid of it, to be honest, but there is some little bits of stuff. But at least I got rid of the quests and the junk, the junk armor and the mindless boring quests. But there's still some buildings and stuff left. I think maybe I'd have to be on PC and get into files to properly remove it. Yeah. So we're just delivering this one back, and we picked up that Lost Expedition, isn't it called? Yeah, that's quick enough. We'll get into that. We can work on destruction, and I am playing with some mods. I'm playing with the unofficial patch. I'm playing with better adoptions for more kids. I'm playing with My Home is Your Home, so basically, we can leave our followers wherever we want to. And I'm playing with Protect Your People. It would protect certain NPCs. And I picked up a spell or two to use in an emergency if I get a bug. And, I've got a mod at home. I needed that because, to hold a vast amount of followers, and of course the 6 kids. And that's Silver Peak something. That's a pretty good one. But out from that, yeah. But I'm thinking, wasn't there some of that free, Morgan? Some of that thing, and I'd say it was free. So maybe that's why I can't remove it. From the uninstall. But I remember, and it's not here now, there was a certain spell in Destruction. It was pretty good for bringing up Destruction, but too good. It felt like an exploit, But Destruction is ridiculous in this game, to max it out. So that's my goal, to follow those rules, to clear every dungeon that can be cleared. Yeah, Yeah, yeah. I'll show you. I'll show you the modded house. It's quite cool. That guy has done some good work on that. There is in the bathroom area a little bit of clipping, but you know you can understand that because you know once you fit something together and it looks okay, and then you come back in 6 hours' time and you see the clipping. The secret there really is when you're slotting them into place to make sure and give it just a little bit more. You know, the clipping would happen when you get two objects, you know, occupying the same space. But out from that, there's a tiny bit of clipping. It's perfect. Maybe a little bit on the large side for me. I prefer more compact ones, but I suppose when you're doing a mod to appeal to as many people as possible, yeah, I would definitely go that way. Console, yeah. Yeah, exactly. That killed me. I was very, very sorry for getting the anniversary edition. I was a naive. I thought that I didn't read too much into it. I thought that they would reinstate the cut quest, the cut content, you know, like the apprentices from the college. I thought they would clean it up a little bit and maybe add a quest or two. Had I known that it would just be an automatic dump from the Creation Club, under no circumstances I would have purchased it. And then to add insult to injury, as you said, yeah, some of it got baked in and I cannot remove it. So I literally paid them money for running my game. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Right, let's hand this one in and then we get the expedition. And we can sell some junk to this guy, of course, of
Good to
course.
see. You have my gratitude. You have my gratitude.
There. And we collect that unusual gem before we go back in.
For months. As promised, there's the key to
The next time we'll be going through that other area will be during the T-skill. But we can collect that other thing early, that gem. Okay. I found this expedition journal. Okay, why
Oh,
not?
really? This looks like someone from Stauben's little group. A brave scholar, but not very wise. If you find Stauben, it would be good to see any notes he may have collected.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
doubt you'll find him alive.
Quite right.
Yes. Yes.
I'll just spam this, guys.
And then I
Just get rid of that.
the excavations into Machunzel are
That's that.
being
Now, let's check this. Okay, that's perfect. Now that's the one we'll be going on next, but I tell you what we might do. What I might do is just grab this unusual gem quickly, it's down here. And then we can carry on our way. I think that's the last gem from here. There was two of them. I went back to yesterday and found that I have other things I just like about. And present there, one example. There is no. Yeah, I've been off this, let's say, since about a year and a half. There was a big update, wasn't there? Yeah, I've noticed the graphics have improved a little bit,
Staying safe, I hope.
but I've noticed some problems as well. I've noticed, let's say, at times, fast traveling in and out of Whiterun. It's brought me right back to the 360 era where you could be waiting 5 to 7 minutes for the loading screen to end. But tell me one time that that games company did an update or a bug fix where they didn't cause more damage than they fixed. Yeah. Okay, there's not much here. I don't want to be stealing stuff. But I do want to get that gem that's up here somewhere. One of these little rooms. Okay, it's gonna be probably in here, is it? Ah, there it is. There. Right, that's enough here. We'll be doing... Oh, there's some decent things for the tea skill there. We might get them later. A little bit early, you know what I mean? There's that cube. And a ton of stuff. The special edition over the other one is that it's available. Oh. Well, the special edition was really a money grab. You know, once they changed from the 360 to the Xbox One, they refused to make it backward compatible. Instead, they decided to sell it to us again. So, to kind of sweeten the deal, so to speak, they just gave us the base game with the DLCs. But we still paid, what was it, 50? I think I paid €50 for stuff I already had. So, you know, I already had the 360 one and all of the stuff for it. So, yeah, basically they ripped me off, charged me again for playing it on Xbox One. Horrible behavior. How many times has Todd sold this game? Let's say, counting re-releases and different platforms, what, 16, 17 times? Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's pretty easy in console. Let's say if... Oh, I get you. Yeah, where it's a separate... Yeah. No, you can't with a download of the special edition. It's baked in. Yeah. Yeah, that was cool, where you could just not enable a certain DLC and cut it out. Yeah, I think it should be like that. You know, all the games. Now, the anniversary edition might not have been too bad. There was a couple of quests that were kind of okay, and a couple of things. But if you could pick and choose, you know, what you wanted from that, it wouldn't be too bad. But it's basically all or nothing, and they're forcing some of the quests, to be honest, it was like Starfield, you know. And I remember one quest in particular. You pick up a note, you go to this area, you kill 2 pretty easy bandits, and your reward was you read another note, and you pick up a dwarf instead of armor. No, come on, you know. That was horrible. A mod manager, yeah. But it shouldn't have to be that way. Yeah, I'm on Xbox console, so I don't know how that would work. But if you're talking about like a mod manager, let's say, that would be PC, wouldn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't console. You're stuck with what you get. Yeah. That would be a Nexus thing, like there's one mod manager. It's got a certain name. I forget the name. But basically, it would kind of, you know, tighten up your files and make sure everything was in the correct load order. Yeah. Yeah, stuck with what you get. But to be honest, I think the age of console is dying. Well, for older people at least. Yeah, maybe kids. Or whatever, but yeah. There's no... How could I put this? There's no real games to play in it, you know? You could say get the Game Pass, but there's nothing I like on that Game Pass. Okay, I forgot to... yeah, we'll have to live with an extra piece of weight. I forgot to sell it. It doesn't matter that much. Let's keep going. I don't think there's a lot of junk to carry down here anyway. And it's definitely not like we need the money. Right, let's go. Let's go. Delete the files, yeah? No, pretty basic here on console. I can kill them much easier with weapons, but you know, I need to get the destruction done. But obviously, well, I've got 4 sets of everything, so I'm not really bothered about that. Okay, we got a big guy here. Okay, he's gone for a while. I'll come back and get him some other time. Yeah, he's taken a long, long trip. Oh, this is really horrible. This is a long quest. Might as well get it out anyway. Not the fondest of these long quests, but yeah, we'll see what we can do. Oh, I've been missing chat. Oh, hi Blonde. Thanks for that shout out. Appreciate it. I've been playing on legendary difficulty, nice, but it's not really very challenging with my current build is stealth. I lose a mage, so getting into red comp, yeah, is avoided, yeah. Oh, it's not easy, and I'd say playing as a mage. On that you'd have to be using, well, you could go with conjuration as well, I suppose. Okay, enough. It's time to get rid of these guys. Yeah, those guys are gonna finish me now if I don't. There. There's quite a few of these guys. Don't ask me how we're gonna carry all of this junk, but okay. Bye-bye to that guy. Okay. Alright, let's keep going. I'll hit the bottom area a little later. I think we can kind of just go through here. Kind of come out from the other end. I stay in the shadows and make them fight each other. Yeah, usually that's a good thing to do. Yep, that's the one. Yeah, it's kind of dungeon, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I would mostly use magic for kind of, you know, that ninja kind of sneak up kind of thing. But only if I just don't want to mess about too much. You know, get something done quickly. But I could do it. I could do it. Obviously, you know, upgrading this. Here, we use the fireball. Problem is my magic doesn't last too long like this. But that's the best I can get, and I'm using stuff as well to cheapen it down a bit. Okay. That's another guy bites the dust. Okay. Now let's have a look around here. Let's see, is there anything we want? Oh, we won't be taking that rubbish. Okay. Hello. Okay, time to switch back to sword, guys. Lot of worthless junk with these guys. Now, I need to sort out those spells later. Once I'm finished with destruction, I can get rid of most of those. You do most of... Yeah. Friendlies, yeah. I've been here for a while lurking. Doing my... Oh, well, thank you, Blonde. I stopped putting points into magic a while ago since I can just make... Yeah, and a fortify. Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah, you can have most spells, especially as mage, to cost 0. Yeah. I want you to do the work on this game. It's kind of similar, let's say, as a warrior as well for the resistances. You know, fire, frost, shock, that kind of thing. Okay, let's do this thing down here. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Oh, we never checked on the Gildergreen tree as well, guys, to see if it should be up now. Yeah, but that was the only way to get around that little bug. And here we go. Obviously, okay, time to dump junk. Yeah. We'll be taking the more expensive junk. Now, all I'm interested in is skill books and small variables. Why not? That's kind of light. Yep. Yeah, some nasty stuff here. Right. I think we got that section done. Yeah, there's actually quite a few books here to collect. But mine is, I still have a good bit to go, let's say, on the park spell. Just use the classic hand spell from Illusion to sort that one later. About a few points to go in Destruction, and I think two-handed and block. We'll need all of the perk points. And then the sky is, you know, pretty much done. It would usually cap out at around 250, but you could still keep going. You know what I mean? Let's say for more health or magic or stamina. Right, come on. Oh, sugar. Okay, let's see if we can get... I think I'll use the heavier goodies. And then we'll do that. You get Destruction running a little bit better. Destruction is an absolute pain. Okay. Now, skill box and small valuables. Oh, staff of fireballs. Kind of junk. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, rubbish. Right, that's that. So where do we go now? Out this way here. This way. No. No. This way here. Back to where we came, I presume? Yeah. Down here. And then... Oh, it's above us. Yeah, it's above us. Gotta go back out this way. Oh, hello. No. We already did that one, didn't we? Hang on. No, let's check this out. Yeah, let's check this out. We'll be thorough in this. My favorite menu and outpost. Dragonborn. Nice. Recently learned that jumping in a forge and taking fire damage for increases your destruction skill. Oh, a kind of glitch. And would that be a temporary one? Yeah, that's for taking, alright. I want to actually use that stuff for display. ones we find, let's say like that. Try and get the best spell as possible. Okay. Okay, it's time to go hardcore on these guys. Okay, we gotta fight our way out of this now. There. Do the best we can. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, something like that. Are you familiar with how to do that, Morgan? If not, I can show you. 89 times. A reset illusion. No, it's definitely a glitch, I would say. Yeah. Yeah. And there was a similar one with vampires on Oblivion. Yeah, there was a similar one. But it definitely sounds like a glitch. Oh, hi, Shoegaze. Yeah, basically, it's by far the easiest way to, you know, let's say even if you max out every skill, this should be short a lot of perk points, Morgan. So, the way the game was intended was obviously to drop a skill and, you know, do it again. But on Illusion and a spell called Harmony, you can do it pretty quickly. There's a similar one on the Elder Scrolls Online, but I think that one is an alteration. So it's legit, you know, the way it was supposed to be. So basically you've got to get your illusion to 100. So you go to the college, you pick up the Master Illusion text thing. You finish that quest, and then there's a book for sale that's called Harmony. You get that spell. You'd want about 500 magic to run it, and you know, maybe the master illusion stuff, and maybe, you know, any bits of jewelry. But basically, once your illusion skill is down to the normal 15, it costs about 900 and something. So you need to be getting it, you know, let's say below 500. And I can go up a couple of skills on this and show you. Now, every time you take down illusion, let's say, and do it again, it takes a little longer each time, you know. But yeah, once we finish this quest, I can show you how it works. But this is not a glitch or an exploit or a bug. You know, this one, we've always kind of done it this way. But I don't see anyone use it that much. I think now, because there's so many exploits and glitches, you know, this would be considered to be a bit time consuming. But legitimately, by far, the fastest way to max out your character in the game without feeling that you've took advantage of a glitch or anything. Okay, it's time to move in with the big guys. Okay, we gotta fight away here now. tough, guys. No matter what level you are, you know that? They're pretty tough, guys. Yeah, with that one. Never used that one. This one might be, you know, a little simpler. But I have a favourite place for doing that, where I can maximize that spell. Yeah, but that would be considered a glitch, an exploit. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. It's a glitch, so it thinks you've been doing that, let's say, for that amount of time. Yeah, that's a common glitch. Exploit would be more, let's say, the kind of restoration potion one. But this one is, you know, totally legit. Yeah, once we get out of here, I'll show you. This one was intended in the game, let's say, you know, to rack up the last of the perk points you need. It is the same grind you would do, it's just you're using an easier spell. And you're kind of optimizing the results, you know? But alteration is not too bad. I usually use the detect life. And if you're going through these dungeons or that and just keep spamming them, occasionally you'll take it out quickly, quite naturally. No, for me it's destruction. I have been tempted to use a glitch or an exploit to do this one. I really have been tempted. Ooh. I like that. Yeah, I'll be needing that for display later. Where's those? Really horrible shields. There they are. Okay, that's not bad. Let's see. Okay, I'm happy with this. We've definitely done that dungeon. Right. Let's get out of here. Yeah. My favourite is Detect Life in the military camps or in the cities as you're going through. There's no need to kind of rush it. It will come out pretty naturally and pretty quick. Oh, by far it is. Especially if you're using vanilla stuff and you're not using any of the glitches or exploits. That's why it's always last to be finished with me. Okay, how are we getting out here? Oh yeah, I think this way, is it? Yeah. And then we take this one. Oh, we're going back out this way. Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. This quest, I forgot, it really takes for ages, but you might as well get rid of it, I suppose. Ooh. Yeah, okay. I'm good with that. So, oh, I see one of the guys there. Okay. Yeah, is that one of the guys there? Or is it one of the guys we killed? Where are we going next? Oh, sugar. I took the wrong one. I thought this was the right one. Okay, let me see. This is confusing. Now it wants me to go on the other one. That is ridiculous. Okay, make up your mind. Oh, no. I'm just going to go this way. Yeah, I'll fumble into it. There's always been a problem with directions in this game. Stupid. Yeah. There's always been a problem with directions in this game. Yeah, let's just do it a hard way. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't mind the glitches and exploits, you know. No doubt if you want to use them, or choose not to, you know. But I wouldn't knock anyone for using them. But it's just, for me, it takes the fun out of the game, you know. But yeah, I'll be all for it. Yeah, if you want to use them, and, you know, you're still having fun, yeah, it's totally your own business. I don't see a problem with them. Or let's say if, you know, some NPC gets trapped here doing a moonwalk and you want to hang around and, you know, maybe get up your archery skill or something, or a boss or whatever, yeah, that's perfectly fine. Ooh. Okay. Okay, now I better start getting rid of some of this junk. The heavy stuff. Well, that's kind of okay. Hardened stuff. Gotta get rid of something, guys. This stuff is pretty naff. Yeah. Yeah. They're not too bad. Okay, we'll do that for a moment. Hello. Yeah, whatever way you find the game fun, go for it. Doesn't matter how easy or hard it is. Exactly. Now you see where I'm going. So if you're having fun in a game, whether you want to start the entire game with your character maxed out, if you want to take a shortcut, if you're playing single player, you know what I mean, there's no problem. But yeah, if you're playing with another player, and maybe if you know, if you both agree to do it, or if you were getting the upper hand on that other player, yeah, and I didn't know you were doing it, yeah, that would be cheating, alright, the definition of it. An unfair advantage. No, but especially in single player, you know, play the way you want to play. I 100% agree. Now, it's just if you've played this game for a long time, you start to know all about it, and it kind of gets boring, you know, and then taking the shortcuts just makes it even more boring again. I find in this game building up your character and doing the grind to be the most rewarding. So cutting that out from me, yeah, would diminish the game. Yeah. Oh, in the game, it's an Imperial. We're doing an Imperial run. Is it Disciple? Let me get my reading glasses. It's disciple, yeah. So we're playing an Imperial and we're doing Imperial restrictions. So that means we can only use Imperial weapons and armor. Also, we cannot buy anything that would improve our character, like ingredients, soul gems, iron ingots, all ingots and ore. In a dungeon, anything goes. We can pick whatever we want to. But we can't wear them, if you know what I mean. We can sell them or whatever. Use them for display. On the outside of a dungeon, let's say on the map and the houses and that, we can only pick from containers. Dead bodies being containers as well. So we can't go around picking the ingredients up, the flowers growing, that kind of thing. So it's made it interesting for me again. Kind of like a kind of survival thing. I don't go out of my way to exploit. Yeah. Yeah, kind of. No, it's never been needed. You're always overpowered in a BGS game. It's just if you're willing to wait till you kind of get, where you're going. And then, in my opinion, that kind of journey to get your character powerful, legitimately, kind of makes the game for me. If I cut that out, after playing it for so long, I would find it boring pretty quickly. Yeah, jump up on a rock. Yeah, well, that would be okay because you cannot be held responsible for the AI of the game. Yeah, I would totally take advantage of that, and I have done. At a low level, jumping. Well, it's a bit different in Skyrim, to be honest, because once you pull the bow out, they'll run away. Makes it pretty awkward and very time-consuming. Oblivion was a lot different. They would just stand there like idiots, and you just, give them everything you've got. Now, there is exceptions in Skyrim where, you can run them between rocks and they get stuck and they'll just keep doing a moonwalk. I've done that a lot of times. Or sometimes you'll come across an enemy that's trapped and, a prime target, for, maybe grinding a bit on archery. That would be the classic. But the AI in that sense in this game is much superior to Oblivion, the old rock thing. Yeah. It's much, much superior. But I'm not above either, let's say at a low level. I get chased, let's say, by an enemy that's, could one-shot me, to run him into a bunch of other enemies or some of the Imperial patrols, and get him taken out that way. I think all of that is legit. Let's say using mind over muscle, I suppose. Brain against brawn. I think it's all legit. Again, it's really down to the way you want to play the game. I don't think you necessarily have to kind of, go toe-to-toe with everything in the game. Oh, let's get rid of a lot of this junk. I just want to keep the good stuff. Okay. Yeah, okay. There. Now, I have never seen them create a game with decent inventory management or NPCs that have enough money. Although this is not bad compared to Starfield. You're going up to vendors with $5,000, in cash. One of your weapons is probably worth that. And they've got probably 500,000 credits in inventory. Ridiculous. Yeah. But I think there's one thing we've all learned from BGS games, Morgan. Killing NPCs with names, it's a no-no. Yeah, not a lot of people will do that. Because you don't know what way it's going to bug out when you need that character again. I've seen how The Witcher handles something like that. If you kill an NPC and you get a quest to kill that NPC later, you say, oh, I've already done that, you know, and then the quest is finished. And that would be a nice thing to see in a BGS game. Yeah, we're going this way, guys. Oh, where are we? Just want to map it out properly. Obviously that way, so let's see what's up here. Well, that's the way we're going. So, we're killing this guy. But I do believe, especially in single player games, there is no right or wrong way to play a game. You know, it's all about having fun, so play it your way. I really never use destruction until I get it to 100% and then I totally lose interest. I've never really liked the mage thing. It's not bad, but I've always preferred the warrior thing. There, out this way. Kinda sorry for picking this quest, I forgot how long it was. I'm not in the mood for longer quests. We're here, we might as well get it done. Just making sure there's no one here. Perfect, alright, let's get out. Okay, the sooner we get this done, the better. I've never had much patience for these runes, you know. Oh, definitely, the handcrafted stuff. Yeah, it's really good. I've always felt that their sense of exploration in the game and their handcrafted content has always been their strong point. Maybe not so much in story, you know, with the exception of Oblivion. But I find that each successive game they do suffers, you know, definitely story-wise. I would say you'd be better off, Morgan. If you're a Skyrim fan like me and you like their other stuff like Fallout 4, it's a massive disappointment. Yeah, you just want to get out as soon as possible. Oh, the Benelin will be pretty good for a cold. Yeah, it would be. But if you want my opinion, Morgan, let's say about Starfield, if you're a fan of Skyrim, how it felt for me. Imagine if you were playing Skyrim, okay? Now, all of the original quests were removed, so there was no quests in the game. And there was no buildings. It was just, or no trees, you know, just a kind of bare minimum landscape. So you had that empty map and you had Skyrim. And then you had the Anniversary Edition, all of the modded quests that kind of, you know, together made no sense, you know, and was they were very repetitive and very boring. It would be like playing Skyrim, none of the original quests. You were playing just with Creation Club content, and the map was pretty empty and uninteresting, and all of your followers if you're kind of used to, let's say, or playing Fallout 4, all your followers were paladin dads. That would be the best way to explain it. Yeah. No, never. Even in Oblivion, and that was their best. But it was by far their best writing. From the games I played, at least. Yeah. Yeah, that kind. It's always been a kind of disjointed kind of thing. But what they have done, Morgan, is, let's say, from Morrowind to Oblivion, it was a big jump. They were kind of pushing the frontiers, pushing it forward, even though the story suffered immensely. There was enough of other interesting stuff and enough new kind of stuff, let's say, to make up for it. You had much better graphics and, it just looked so much better. Not that graphics is everything, but it kind of made up for it. And then the same from Oblivion to Skyrim. Again, the story suffered immensely. But there was enough stuff to make up for it. The stuff that they've been churning out now, I don't like. The online games, the other stuff, I suppose, they're not responsible. It's other studios, but still, they had the last say. So for me, Starfield was a good opportunity to see them, let's say the original team, the guys that's going to be working on the major kind of Elder Scrolls, what they're capable of doing. And to be honest, I was shocked. Yeah. I would say it was like a kind of a Fallout 76 kind of fiasco. The unmotivated in every sense. But if these are the guys that are going to be working on the Elder Scrolls, I would be absolutely amazed. I mean absolutely, and pleasantly surprised if the game was on par with Skyrim. But my best hopes for the next Elder Scroll is, it will be draggy and half as good as Skyrim. That you would rather play, take a break from Skyrim for about 12 months and have a Skyrim playthrough, and then play the new one. But that wouldn't be much of a gamble saying that, judging from, what they've been doing so far. But I do hope that they turn things around, and start listening to the people that buy the game, instead of what they think. As I said, we all like different things, and probably, the devs are into something different, but I think when it comes to gaming, you would have to pander to the majority, if you expect to stay afloat and keep the most amount of people, happy with what you're doing. Yes, it was. Yes. Yes, it has been. But also some Skyrim mods make it feel like a whole new game. Yes, I totally agree. Yes, I 100% agree. Jambale. Or sorry, Joey. I 100% agree. The problem with mods, it was both savior of Skyrim, again in my opinion, and it's Doom. Or let's say for BGS, I should say. They made the game what it is today, no doubt. They've made it popular with next generation of gamers and that, and kept the old guys hanging on, let's say, doing it your way. And they got it done for free. I'm quite sure they wouldn't have gotten such a big payout from Microsoft, and the game might be, definitely not as popular. But when they seen that kind of success, they obviously had to turn a buck from that with the Creation Club. That one was, that's horrible, you know what I mean? And now, let's say, when they're making games, they don't mind messing it up so much. They'll always say, "Oh well, we'll let the modders in. They'll fix it." You know, that's not very good. That doesn't discourage them from making bad games or buggy games if they think someone was going to fix it for zero. But long term, it's going to destroy their company. Once you get a few buggy games, you'll move on. Most people will. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You know, like imagine, making a game and it's not finished properly and then selling it and saying, oh, well, someone will fix it. There's no motivation there. And it's bad enough, even when the games are, let's say, to BGS's standards fixed, which is not really fixed, but, you know, there's a game like Starfield. I don't care how many mods you put into that. Even if you get the bugs out, which you never will, it's not just about the bugs. The game is rubbish. You know what I mean? It is rubbish compared to what they're capable of doing. And I respect that. Some people might find it interesting, or even good. That's their thing. We all like different stuff, as I said before. But to me, compared to what I know they can do if they want to, but they just won't apply themselves. And instead of listening to any kind of feedback or any constructive criticism, they double down on what they're doing. Again, I quote Todd saying, Skyrim fans don't know what they want. I know what they want. And apparently what we wanted was lots of microtransactions and creation clubs. Yeah, which was convenient for Todd. And, if anyone, some devs hit back at, guys saying the game was boring, which I totally agree. They said it's not boring. You're playing the game wrong. Use your imagination. That kind of silliness, like they did on Fallout 76 to give you an empty map. It's like, giving your kid a cardboard box, as a Christmas present, and telling him to use his imagination, That kind of stupidness. Soulless, yeah. I was being diplomatic, Patch. I was being as diplomatic as I possibly could be. And how have you been, Patch? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, how did it get such good reviews for the first 2 or 3 months? There was reviewers there giving that game 100 out of 100. How do you justify that? Now, I don't believe these guys were on a payroll, but I think, they wanted to make sure they got first in on any games from that company again. So it was dishonest, in my opinion. Because even if you loved every single aspect of the game, let's say you were at 1 in 1 million, you loved the bugs and you loved everything, you would at least have to, as a reviewer, you would at least have to, drop it, 1 point out of 10, because of the literal amount of bugs, Like, I would give Skyrim, and this is my all-time favorite game, I would give it 8. I would give it 8 out of 10. Now, obviously, 1 point would be deducted for the bugs since launch that they haven't fixed. You know what I mean? And it takes me maybe 10% more time doing quests in a certain way to avoid these bugs. So I would definitely dock it 1 point. I would dock it another point for the amount of cut quest content that's still left in the game. You know what I mean? Which, if you're a new player finding these things and, finding little bits and pieces that look like quests, wasting your time on that. And a few other things as well. The story as well. But I would, and that's the highest I've ever rated a game, 8. And I suppose, yeah, I would rate Witcher 3, although it's a different kind of game. I would rate that probably about an 8 for what it is. It's more of a story, let's say, than a kind of exploration, so, yeah. Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, not too bad. I decided to do an on-schedule stream. I wasn't feeling too bad, so thought I'd get a bit in, get a few of these quests done. It's still a long way off, but it's my most hopeful. Nice upcoming RGB. That and Avowed. Yeah, I was pretty excited for Avowed also, Morgan, until I dug a bit deeper into it. The trailers that they put out, they were probably originally thinking about going in that way, but they're very I won't say deceitful, but they're nothing like what the game is going to be. They gave an illusion of a kind of Skyrim meets Oblivion kind of thing, and yeah, I was pretty hyped for that. Even though, let's say, they've been kind of relegated under the Microsoft umbrella as a kind of a B team, with their budget and that. Point in fact would be the Outer Worlds. So I heard, I don't know how true it is, that they kind of pitched a kind of Elder Scrolls spin-off to BGS, and they flatly said no. And you would understand why, because they did a really good job in New Vegas, which kind of showed up BGS, and yeah, they didn't want them to do the same on the Elder Scrolls. Their crown jewel. The ones that they can actually take credit for. So that was stopped, and now, Obsidian have been kind of backtracking, saying, "No, well, no, it's not like Skyrim. It's kind of like the Pillars of Eternity kind of thing they were doing." So yeah, I think the trailer we seen that time is going to be, it's going to be a lot different than the game itself. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They surprised them, to be honest, and with New Vegas, and they were pushed, to make that quickly. If they had a little bit more time, I'm sure, the bugs would have been brought down to a minimum. But yeah, Todd is a strange guy. How anyone would believe a word that comes from that guy's mouth? But you got to understand what Todd is. Todd is a spokesman, for those guys. There was a few of them together that started it off, that kind of thing, and he was the guy that could speak, so, he was nominated, and he's been their mouthpiece ever since. But, I can quote stuff like 16 times the detail, remember Fallout 4, he said, what was it, seamless loading screens, that kind of stuff. But when BGS, when they're releasing a game, and when you see a kind of interview with Todd, or a kind of showcase, everything that Todd would brag about would be in real, let's say that thing would be rubbish in the game. So he's got a lot of tells, you know what I mean? He's got a lot of tells. He overcompensates with his mouth for stuff in the game that's absolutely rubbish. And the stuff he doesn't mention is kind of okay. So he literally tells you what's wrong with his game. If he brags about a building system, like let's say Starfall, the most comprehensive building system ever, like he might as well have saying to me, it's rubbish, don't even think about playing it. And it's massively bugged. So just ignore it. That's what I got from that. I think so as well, yeah, Morgan. Oh, absolutely. He is the epitome. Yeah, he is the epitome of that. Yeah, well, basically he's like a Michael Collins, yeah. He just does some damage control and brags about the game to try and get as many people to buy it as possible. And he gets a wage for doing so. Yeah, basically. Yeah, he has that kind of personality, all right. But like our opinion, let's say, of Todd would be a little bit biased, because we know, uh, we know his personality and we know his traits and we know what his mouth is like. So yeah, I tend to agree. He is odd. But then, the side he's showing there might, obviously not be his, it's just what he portrays. He's just, it could just be an act. And most of the time it actually is. Who knows? He might be an evil baddie in real life or a really nice guy. But just let's say when it comes to making money, he doesn't mind taking the exaggeration route, the not so moral route. Hmm. Ah, I think when the company started off, well, by his own admission, I've seen a few interviews. He kind of pestered him until they kind of brought him in. And then let's say I think the original guys who started doing this were more kind of software engineers and might have been when they were young kind of socially awkward. And Todd was that kind of guy that could speak. So he would have been quickly nominated, let's say, their kind of spokesman and to do the kind of socializing thing and the kind of publicity and that. And then after a while kind of made himself indispensable, from there and became an important part, of that company. The other guys would have been more interested in the technical side and, probably as kids and that, if you have an interest in that, you would be, let's say, not that socially active and would find it uncomfortable to, react in that way. And they wanted, plus, I suppose they wanted to just, get to work. So, yeah, Todd would have been the guy. Yes, yes, that kind of bias. Bias in itself is not a bad thing. It depends, on a lot of things. Yeah. But I think that's how it goes. But judging from the little bits of interviews I've seen, I'm not sure of the full story, and I'm, totally guessing. Okay, which way, guys? Oh, this guy is actually here. How would I get to this guy? Oh, it's up there. Well, there's one here. Where is it? You got to be kidding me. Okay, we get up this here. Come on. It's got to be up here. It's apparently over there. How would we get across? I'm thinking maybe this way. Okay, come on. Oh, there it is. There it is there. Okay, we could maybe jump down here. That's weird. Okay, I'm gonna chance jumping here, guys. There we go. Got it. Okay, let's take out this guy. Oh no, that one. Apparently not. Right, let's get this one. Oh. Perfect. I think that's the first time I've got that skill book. That's just junk. Right, what's next, guys? The other one is right up here. We're in the armory, yeah. Okay, we nearly have this done. I think we gotta go up this way. Yeah, this is the one. And that's the way out. That's the way we came in. Okay, this is the last one. Oh, of course. Yeah. Yes, yes, there would be, and I suppose, there would be a bit of confirmation bias as well, obviously. It's in everyone. But you would usually decide on something, let's say, on your experiences, you know. But I think, with BGS, it's unique, in a sense that, a lot of people would have the same thing. Like, you know, the stuff like 16 times the detail, and we all have eyes. We seen it was nothing like that, and it was a disaster, you know. And the stuff. Let's say he did tone it down. I must admit, a little bit with Starfield. But I don't think anyone could argue that he's been 100% truthful. So I think it's kind of unique, It would be obviously, let's say, knowing that of him, you know what I mean. You wouldn't trust him in future. Hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. But I think there's one thing we could agree on, that, well, most people at least, that every piece of new work to do is a little less than the last. You know what I mean? And it's not up to standard. You would think if, let's say from my point of view, they could make a game, let's say, as good as Skyrim 12 years ago, that they could at least try to do something similar. They have a lot more money, they have a lot more staff, and their engine is a lot better. You know? Hmm. But if we didn't really like his games, we wouldn't even be talking about him. Ah, let's see. Okay, I will have to go big time on these guys. Oh, I see if he's stupid enough to stay there. Okay. Right, let's just get rid of these guys. This quest is going on far too long. I suppose another way of looking at it would be, let's say the older games, you start playing them at a certain time, and, games that you really like or love. And we don't like change, We like to keep things, let's say, the way they were, especially if we find them to be entertaining or good or remind us of better times. So there's a lot of nostalgia, connected to games, just like music and movies and stuff like that. And we definitely don't want them changed. Obviously, we'd like to see some more of the same. Now, to a certain extent, there would be, let's say, a little bit of bias in that sense, if you didn't get what you were expecting. But I think the quality of the stuff, even, let's say, fair enough. They want to do something different. Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? But when that thing, is really, really bad, below a lot of standards, and the majority of fans say the same. You know what I mean? I think it's all kind of legitimate, any kind of criticism in that sense. And most of the criticism would be, you know, applied constructively, you know. And then let's say they kind of hit back and double down. So it's a bad situation, you know. Oh yeah, yeah. And I don't blame the devs in any way, Morgan. You know, they're guys there, they've got families, they do work, And even let's say if you see a really bad quest, but the guys high up, you know what I mean? Especially the guys high up in the writing, you know, they should really do something about the story. I can't see how that would be much of a problem. I know writing a more complicated story, the NPCs would have to do more. It might be a little bit more work, but I think, obviously be worth it. But, if a dev is given a certain amount of time or, some of their work is cut, there's not much they can do about that. They don't have the say, you know. So there's two ways of looking at it, either they're not giving devs enough time to to do the job they need to do. So in that case, a lot of the top management, their head should roll, or they haven't got the right devs, and they're just doing a bad job. Again, that's the responsibility of management, and the head should roll. So they're going to have to do something about the guys that make the decisions, and maybe something about some of the devs. But in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't make much of a difference. But just for the sake of conversation, it's just a game. It's a game I would like to see, them make some more of the same. But if they don't, they don't. There's not much I can do, and I'm sure we can live without it. Someone else will come along to make decent games we like. But having a kind of fondness and a kind of nostalgia for the game, I'd like to see it survive. The Elder Scrolls. But there's no saying, let's say it kind of hits on what you just said, that a dev provides as much behind the scenes knowledge to their, yeah, they would come out with the most information, let's say even more than Todd himself. There's an old saying, I don't know if you guys heard of that, Todd is like a mushroom farmer, He keeps his kind of Elder Scrolls, or let's say game fan base, in the dark, and he feeds them manure, Well, it's been said BS, feeds them BS. And that pretty much sums it up. Todd the mushroom farmer. Hmm. Yes, yes. Especially the old school guys. And some of them have Morgan. But that, again, it poses an interesting question. All of these game studios started out like that. Guys together doing some good work, um, creating their games with a passion. and, some artistry. What happens then is those games obviously become quite successful. Then a lot of money gets involved, and usually 99% of the time, I would say, the people who founded that company will sell out, for a huge amount of money. Of course, they'll get promises. You can stay on as CEO, you'll have total control, everything will be done your way. We'll just sit back and we'll supply the money. But these CEOs, let's say, would have no power there, you know what I mean? So they're just working on a promise. So bit by bit, the whole vision, for that company and the games they make would change, you know what I mean? And eventually these CEOs would just have enough and they would leave, you know what I mean? And then, some of them would try to make another game studio, and then it'll get to the stage again where if that becomes successful, they'll sell out again. And the whole cycle starts over and over and over again. So, yeah, if the main artists in that did do their own company, and let's say, they started off something fantastic, the whole thing would just start again. It would become successful, they would sell out, promises would be made to those guys. We seen that in Activision, wasn't it? Or was it Blizzard? Activision. Yeah, we've seen this, So it's not going to change. The only way the whole industry will change is if you make bad, buggy games, or games that you consider to be too woke. People have got to stop buying them. And they lose money, and then they say, okay, if we want to make games and if we want to stay afloat, we've got to make something good. You know what I mean? And that's the only way to change it. But you would imagine when, they're so successful, their games, and they make so much money, more money than these guys could ever spend. You would imagine the least they would do is make the games that people want. But then they get kind of full of themselves and drunk on their own success. And they come across with woke agendas or really boring games or just lazy stuff and expect you to kind of gobble up every kind of piece of rubbish, like it was something from Da Vinci, They become a victim of their own success. And that's when red flags appear in most companies. I seen this on the release of The Elder Scrolls. And I did say, if they come out with another piece of online trash like this, they're done. And they came out with Fallout 74, and then within a few years of that, they were bought up by Microsoft. And you'd have to ask yourself, if your company was doing well and you were happy with it, would you sell out to someone? No, you wouldn't. But they're just basically, strip-minded their fans, They literally strip-mined their fans until, it was depleted. And then just dropped that empty shell and moved on. Yes. Yes. Unless that we make ourselves heard. And the only way, corporate is too embedded now in the gaming industry, Morgan. And even guys coming in, making these good games, that's their ultimate goal, to be a massive success. And for the corporate cycle to start all over again. Remember, the corporate cycle is, and they've said exactly this, our responsibilities are not to people buying the games. Their responsibilities are to their shareholders. So that means to make them as much money as possible. Making as much money as possible from a game and making a good game. It's an oxymoron, It's Two things that cannot be done. You know, it's a one or the other. You make a really outstanding game, and over the long term, you know, you'll get what you want. You know, but you won't make as much money. Which will make a game, you know, you'll make a classic game. And a lot of people find that to be enough, the artists in it. But when you're dealing with guys in charge of a company that have probably never played a game, that are more better suited to the stock market, you know, that's what you've got now. You've got a product, you know. And that's not going to change. The only way is to show these guys that if this persists, yeah, you'll bankrupt them. You know what I mean? So, two things will happen. Games will be made a lot better, and corporate antics won't be as common in games because it will be too risky, you know. It has, yeah, it has. Like, if you're a shareholder in a company, you know, you're not there because you like the game. You want to make money. And if that whole industry folds, as long as you get a payoff, yeah, you don't care. Yeah, and you can't blame them. Because, let's say, there's a lot of stuff done in their name. That's pretty bad, you know. But they're kind of hypocrites as well. Of course, shareholders will benefit. But these guys that keep saying these things, you know, we do this for our shareholders, they get massive bonuses, you know. So they're actually thinking about their own paycheck. And as a side effect, shareholders will get more. But I'm sure if you put it to a vote with shareholders, let's say if you want to do something nasty in the game that might ruin it, but it had a massive financial gain for those shareholders, I'm sure the majority of shareholders will go along with it. Yeah, so it's not a good thing. Now the likes of, from what I hear, the guys that do Baldur's Gate, you know, there's no shareholders involved there. It's just a company owned by that guy, and he tends to keep it that way. So he seems to be a pretty honest guy. You know what I mean? So yeah, you know, it was a lot of fun when that game came out. You know, developers from toxic companies that, you know, like to do you know, really a lot of silly things in games. You know, complaining about how good the game was, which I thought was petty. You know, oh my, you've done a good game. You're ruining it for us all. Now we'll all have to do good games. You know? Unbelievable. Yeah, he's okay. I liked some of his movies. I liked... No, he did some good stuff. You know, The Wind That Shakes the Barley and that. Yeah. Yeah. Imagine that, guys. You know, as developers now, we'll have to actually work on a game. You know, we won't be able to take as many holidays. We won't be getting as, you know, that much big of a paycheck. And yeah, now we'll have to actually make a game that we're playing. And this guy is forcing us to do so. Oh, woe is me, you know. Let's start a little fund for these guys, you know, kind of GoFundMe, you know, for the crooks from the gaming industry. And they're literally destroying it. Like, even though this game was 12 years ago, I firmly believe the way I see things going, BGS will never make a game on par with this game ever again. You know? Even though, let's say, you know, the amount of technology and money they have now and workers, you know. And I don't think that even if they could, they wouldn't want to. They wouldn't want to put that much work into something again. Why would you when you're making enough money? Hmm. Oh, I don't know his personality whatsoever. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You shouldn't know anything about their politics, anything, their personality. That's yeah. Hmm. Absolutely, I 100% agree, Morgan. As a celebrity, you should keep. I know people saying, your opinion could help, and I suppose in some cases it could. You could give minimum input, but yeah, it's you're really taking a massive chance, and I think celebrities should keep away from social media, especially those in Hollywood. I don't know how many times, they've literally shot down their careers. Yeah. Hmm. Why has Cillian been saying stuff on social media? I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, there would be, especially if they were in the game a long time. But it's like, as human beings, we're pretty strange. If we get, success in that and everything is going our way, we tend to kind of think that we're special. I don't think anyone is special, and we start to believe what people tell us. And I would never do that. People tell you you're great, you're fantastic, all of that stuff. And yeah, as human beings, we tend to kind of fall into that kind of thing. But it's like the old Roman generals. They would, the successful ones. They would literally hire a guy to follow them around, and every so often whisper into their ear, "Remember, you're only human." Yeah, it's kind of like that, because when you think you're something special, when you think that your input means more than anyone else, you tend to make mistakes, you know. So yeah, I think for anyone that would have a career in the stuff, social media is not the way to go. Or letting anyone know anything about your political, religious, or any kind of opinion you have. Well, you can't win, guys. You know what I mean? You're going to alienate one half or another. Yeah. But I can understand if some people feel strongly for something. Yeah, I suppose. But they still run the risk of hurting their careers and not making any difference. Actually, probably sometimes hurting their cause. As strange as that may sound. But you say, let's say, being removed from the kind of reality that we live in, well, that would apply to politicians and, you know, wealthy businessmen and stuff like that. Yeah, that's common enough. Why not? And thanks for following, Morgan Harper. Appreciate it. And welcome to the community. Now let me get something to drink. I'm still a little ill. Well, I'm still a lot ill, so I need to keep drinking this stuff. my mind tends to wander sometimes. I don't get much sleep. And I do tend to rant a little bit, I suppose. There. Now, let's keep going. I have a little bit of time left and we'll see what we can do. Clean up this quest anyway for starters. And here's our last one. Okay. There. Now, something about defenses. Da-da-da. I'm not taking that dagger. Right, let's go. Basically kill everything. Oh, there's another guy just down here. Oh, this is where we do the defenses. Okay. We're almost through. What is that? Hey, not much of a warmonger, was he? Now there's going to be a bit of a battle here. That's it. And that's it, we're finished. You get all the robots killing all the other guys. There's a little way down here. But we're pretty much done with this, guys. This is the way out, isn't it? Yeah, basically. I think there's a little thing we jump from here. And there's a little thing we can kind of pick here. It's worth 509, it's worth 24. Nah, we've had enough. That's that, guys. Let's go. Almost certain we jump from here and then we get out of here. Yeah, this way, apparently. Yep. Cool. It's cleared. Yeah, we pretty much got this. Yeah, we just leave them. We're out of here. Oh, of course we're... Nah, not moonstone. No, we've got tons of that. Yeah. We should let them battle it out. Yeah, it's all cleared. Right, let's go. That was a pretty long quest. But at least it's over with. We get a few more books for decoration and that. And a few items. I wanted to do a little bit more to Hard Far Home. Yeah, we'll give the quests a little break for a moment. And we might go hunting, I'd say. Well, I still have about a half an hour now, I suppose, if I can push myself. We'll see. Let's see. Yeah, can't give me that. Right, let's sell as much of this junk as we can. There's a dead request there, but it would just take too long. Let me see. We go out and here. Yeah. We just cleared a dungeon, come back, and then. Nah, I don't know if we have time. We'll do that next stream, I'd say. Looking forward to that. We'll do a little bit of cleanup now. There it is, and that's the end of that quest. Ooh. Then of course we have a good bit of selling to do.
Good to see Skyrim.
I found this journal.
Let's see. So that's what happened to that one. Tragic.
Apparently.
I warned him he was leading those people on a fool's errand. Unfortunately, sometimes the stone of scholarship is built on the foundation of death. I'll inform the king. Here, I usually pay researchers for their work when they emerge from the ruins, but they won't be using it anymore.
And that's it. What we've got for sale.
For those with the talent to cast.
Right, he's got some money, so... Yeah, I don't want that junk. I do not want that junk. There's some pricey stuff, isn't there? There. Now, there is an orc up here. But that's one major quest coming from there. There's a lot to do here in Markarth.
Hail, companion. The Silverblood family will be heard.
We've done all of the small guys. So there's just the Daedra quest. And that the Bella, is it? Yeah. And then, let's say we pick up another quest eventually in Rift, and that kind of brings us here, but, you know, for some NPCs, but that's about it.
May your neck take a look.
Now. Oh. That's pretty pricey, isn't it? There. Now, we've got to be careful here. We need to go... Yeah, we're perfect. 216. We'll give a save anyway. We should be able to sell the rest here. Some of the enchanted stuff I want to use for decoration later. So I'll hold that, and if I change my mind, I'll hold it in a large chest, and I'll just sell it. There. Now, let's get selling.
Favor the ball, eh? I'm a sword.
So what are we like in destruction anyway? Oh my god, I'd probably finish the game before we finish that.
Now here's I got some wonderful jewelry.
Well, there's a good few vendors here. I've got speech maxed out, so they have a reasonable amount of money. She has got 2,800 anyway. $770. Okay, I want that. Hang on. Bandit armor. There isn't a full set of that, is there? No. So we won't be doing a set of that. It's just one piece. Okay, I'll keep it just in case. I don't think we'll be using it. That will definitely be using that. So got our . all this stuff we already have. 71. Yeah, okay, 74.
Come back if you need a new ring or necklace.
Don't try
No.
just what you see here. Come back when you need more.
Okay, and this one.
A man like me makes a lot of things.
A fine day to take a look.
22. I wonder if she got anything I could buy. I'm allowed to buy grand soul gems even though I don't need them. There. That should be enough to sell that stuff. Yeah, that's good. Perfect. Perfect.
Back whenever you need something.
Oh, welcome back, Morgan. Welcome back. We just finished that quest and we're getting rid of the junk.
I'm telling you, I heard it.
And then for a little while we'll just go exploring for a while just to wind down from... I kind of dislike the really long quests.
This is the silver blood.
Especially in those ruins, you know?
Let's sate that appetite. Hmm?
Perfect.
Remember, ale is...
Just sell as much as we can. We still got 2 vendors left.
Yes, yes.
And then we'll come back here and... Oh yeah, there's that mine quest as well. There's 3 biggies still left here.
I'd be a lot warmer and a lot happier with a belly full of meat.
A lot of quests here.
May your weapon. Blades, helmets, pretty much anything to
Right.
suit your needs.
Now let me see. Haha. That's enough. Yeah, we might have to stop at a couple of military camps, but got a good bit of it gone. I know that this won't solve all the problems with modern, yeah. But if you will never in your life have an opportunity to see impersonal leaders who make decisions about your life, then your community is too big. That's just my opinion, though. Yeah. Yeah, I see where you're kind of going. I think part of that would be, how could I put this? I find government to be not that transparent, in a sense. The leaders we tend to elect, let's say have known this kind of thing, maybe come from families that do that, you know, that politician thing, you know, their father again and all of that stuff. And like most of maybe the top 5%, they're shielded by, well, I won't say reality. They're shielded by the problems of, let's say, the common man. And either do not understand or blatantly ignore these things. And how could I put this? I don't believe that all policies they make are for the benefit of all, you know. I suppose there's compromises that they would have to make. And I don't think, let's say, doing a radical change would help where, you would go and, pick someone that, wouldn't be into the politics thing at all. Politics now, has a kind of bad name. But you need to know about politics to kind of do this job. And then picking an absolute outsider, well, that can backfire in so many ways. You're out of the frying pan and into the fire. But there definitely needs to be a reform in some way. Because, they answer to the people. But it seems like, in most cases, we answer to them. I think every country has that feeling. Yes. To a degree, yes. But the rot in that goes much further, I do believe, and I cannot believe it's a thing, lobbyists, if there was a system where, if a person needs funds for campaigning, that would literally have to get it from the public, and there was like a cap on a donation, let's say like $100 or $400 or $500, to anybody that wants to contribute, and all of the funds came from the public. Wouldn't it be in their best interests to serve the public and keep the public happy? Because now they're beholden to the public, the people who put them in office, instead of being beholden to some big donation guy, that gave them the money to get to where they are, Election ballot should be a choice based off all of the votes that the candidate has made in their career, rather than, well, yeah, to their past history should be up there. You should be held to account for the decisions you make. Yeah, I do believe that. But the way it is in politics, you promise. It's like a Todd game, it's like a BGS game. You promise the world, and then you give them something a lot less. And then you can always say, well, we tried, but, this guy said no, or that guy, and, well, we couldn't get it done this time, but we'll get it done the next time. It is deceptive. Like, I remember one of our so-called leaders here in my country. He made a ton of election promises, like they always do. They never fulfilled one, and, whatever the case may be. But about 10 years later, when he was retired, he was doing an interview on some talk show. And he literally said, as a politician, he said, you promised him all those things. And I'm paraphrasing a bit. But you never really, do them. It's just a thing that we do as politicians. So he basically said, yeah, we know we're lying. Everyone is lying. So it's okay. Who cares? No, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. But we tend to look at politics a little different here than, let's say, most countries. We're not... It's not as tribal as everywhere else. We tend to look on all politicians not to be trusted too much and to be self-serving. to a certain extent. We try to keep them in check, and as far as other countries are going, maybe they're not as bad as other ones, but they still need reform. But I must admit, for the past 10 years, yeah, things have been changing here.
So, you're interested in my potions and ingredients?
No. Is it 76 here somewhere? Not really. There, 50. I got something here. 12. 26. 9. That would do.
Now,
That's not bad.
if you need a cure or anything else.
Yes. Yes, I 100% agree. There's a couple of things the French government tried to pull, and the whole country shut down. Yeah, let's say that's a perfect example of how much you can actually get the government to do the job they were elected on doing. Although it's still not perfect, they still get away with murder everywhere. But as an example, yeah, it's the country, let's say, where when they put their mind to it, they can make themselves heard. Yeah, but the French are kind of unique. They've got a history, let's say, of standing up for themselves. Plus, they're very into learning as much as possible about what's going on, in their own country and in other countries as well. So being informed is part of it, They realise that, little events here and there and where they can lead, and they tend to kind of try and stamp that out. And they do not like overreach, and you can't blame them for that. In most countries, there's a kind of mentality, if I'm okay, if everything is going for me, if it's not bothering me, why should I protest? Why should I vote? Or why should I do anything? And it's just the ones affected that would be protesting, and it's not enough. And I think the French realised that, like that old saying, what was it again? First they came for the socialists. I did not do anything, because I was not a socialist. Now they come from me, and there's no one left, to stand up for me. It's that kind of thing. They know that if they let the government do what they want, even if you don't like a certain community, or let's say you don't kind of put yourself in the same category, or you think maybe they're different than you, or whatever the case may be. But once they're finished, once they get a taste of power, doing that and abusing people's rights, or railroading them, once that happens, once they go on that, they'll eventually get to you. You know what I mean? That acquisition of power, once it starts rolling, it's a downhill. It will take up speed. Yes. Yes, they've got a good spirit. But only because they make it their business to be a part of what's going on, to go out of their way to realise, let's say, the events that are happening, and not to a certain extent to live in a kind of bubble where if everything is working out perfect for me, why should I care about the guy next door? or the guy in another city, or the guy in another state or county. But if we all stand together and, treat each other like we should be, like brothers and sisters. Yeah, that would change a lot, but that's a big one. It's never ever been done, and I don't think it will ever be done, especially when you've got people, let's say, capitalizing on certain divisions in society and using it to cement their own positions, or, that will always be a thing. But that's always been a thing since, the beginning of civilization. Reasons and people have changed, but the motive is always the same. And that's unfortunately pretty human. Right, let's go do something. Get rid of this last of this junk, I'd say.
You've got a lot of nerve. Walking around here dressed like an Imperial Legionnaire. Take a look.
But every little thing that happens has a ripple effect. And if something is not checked in time, the longer it goes, the harder it is to rectify, obviously. I think that's one thing that history has taught us, at least. There we go, guys. We got it all, and about time. Let's get rid of this junk. I'm not familiar, Morgan, with... Well, let's say I'm really, really familiar with what's happening here. I'm relatively familiar with the events in Europe, but not so much, let's say, as North America. But what I do find, let's say, strange, but I wouldn't call it wrong, depends on your view. And it's not, let's say, the majority of North Americans. It would be a minority, but a much bigger minority than, let's say, here in Europe, is their unwavering support of corporations. Even in the wake of... It's like family, where, you might have a relative that did something, let's say, questionable. And, even though you might not agree with it, you would kind of do mental gymnastics and kind of, take offense, because it's family. I found it to be, a little bit like that. But a lot more in North America than anywhere else, I've found. And I'm not saying corporations are bad, it's just the way things are. But if something is bad, guys, if something is immoral, it doesn't matter if you've got a connection, like, let's say, if one of my own family did something bad, I wouldn't defend it, It is what it is. And it's important to call out these things, I don't know enough, you see, to really comment, It would be unfair of me to comment. Now, if I, let's say, lived for a reasonable amount of time, maybe a decade, lived and worked in the US, I might be more qualified. But I'm sure it's much more complicated, I suppose. But I have found with my discussions and, let's say there is a lot of Americans here, and you know, some of them living here for a while, and when I was working, I would socialize a lot with these people, and I would listen to the reviews, which I found to be kind of strange. But then again, I'm from a different country, so that's not a bad thing. And then let's say I would know these people over a certain amount of time, and let's say over a 5-6 year period, and they've been living here and living in Europe, and kind of taking in how things work. And I would literally see their opinions and everything change. Like a kind of eye-opening moment. But I suppose the moral of the story is, it's good to go, to other places, to travel a lot. Not just on a holiday. Hanging out in, at a pool at a hotel, wouldn't kind of qualify you, to kind of understand. So let's say to kind of live and work and survive in a country, and then you can kind of, you've got something to compare with, It might not be better, it might be better, it might be worse, or it might be the same. But it gives you a comparison. And I think everyone needs a comparison, But the world is basically changing, Morgan. We're going to see a lot of change, especially over the next few decades. But let's say being a person very interested in history, you can see this repeat over and over and over again through the centuries. But it's a lot got to do with a person's lot, I suppose, in life, when things are getting hard, when, prices are, are going through the roof, you've got responsibilities, there's a lot of pressure and stress, and we're all turned to certain things. We've seen some good things become of a situation like that, but we've also seen some horrible things. But only time will tell. But it can't keep up the way things are going. It can't be a system where, a person who, works every day that God sends, just for enough food and a roof over their head, and other people, literally making billions. You got a cop or a firefighter or a doctor, a nurse, a baker, a gardener, all paying, maybe 30-40% tax on everything they make, and multi-trillion-dollar companies walking away without paying a penny. In some cases, actually getting money from the government. It's wrong. You know what I mean? It's wrong that, these things happen. And I've always found, let's say, the word socialism. There's all kinds of socialism. It all depends on, how far you go down that rabbit hole. Has always been kind of confused with communism in North America. Well, the definition really, if you want to kind of boil down socialism, is the fact that everyone should pay the same. You know what I mean? But you don't see this happening. But in countries, let's say, not that familiar with socialism, they kind of see it as, let's say, a free meal ticket to anyone who doesn't want to work. And of course the system can be abused, you know what I mean? But on a very, very small scale, But it's a greater benefit than it is, let's say, a problem, But it all depends. You see, I've grown up, I've over half a century, seeing how it developed. And I've seen this country, let's say, when let's say we were not as integrated, let's say, into the EU and that, when certain things come into place. And I've seen this kind of hierarchy thing before, almost like an aristocracy, where you'd have tiers, you know. And of course, there'll always be kind of tiers in society, but to the extent where, you know, people are getting stepped on, you know, and you see this cronyism and this kind of thing, you know, time and time again. But it's a lot better here than it was, let's say, 40 years ago, you know. And that's a good thing. We still have a long way to go. It's by no way perfect. And I don't think you'll ever get a perfect system. But what you would need to do is you would need not just one system, but the best parts of all systems, you know. It's easy to say. But we have a lot to do and a long way to go. And I don't know if we'll ever get there.
Here's what I can spare. Here's what I can spare.
Hmm. 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 I look at it as a safeguard system. And yeah, a lot of people wouldn't understand if you're out of work, let's say because of you're ill or sick, or, you know, you just can't find a work. You know, the vast majority of people, it's absolutely not their fault. You've paid taxes, Morgan. You know what I mean? You've paid taxes, so, you know what I mean? I have no problem paying taxes. I have no problem paying even more taxes if I know my money is being used to help society. You know what I mean? Instead of some corporation. I would much rather give my money to people who need it, you know, than to give it to a corporation, you know, that's going to put it in an offshore account, or buy them a new jet, you know, or some more stocks, you know, or something like that. I have no problem with that. And I think most people, you know, it's a system, I think of it as a system you pay into. I've been paying into it all of my life. And, you know, when things are going good, that's great. But when you get old and ill, or, you know, you need health care, medical care, or if you're down in your luck, you know, they'll help you, you know what I mean? But basically you've helped yourself if you think about, you know, the taxes you've paid, you know. And then, let's say, you know, you've done your thing, and, you know, that will help somebody, and then when you're down, somebody will help you, and it's like a kind of friendship, you know, when everybody will kind of rally round and help each other. Of course, the system can be abused, but not as much as a lot of people, you know, kind of make out. And it does a lot more good than it does harm, you know.
Here's what I can spare. Here's what I can spare.
Right, weapons. Apparently there's some junk we had to sell, wasn't it? The books. Oh yeah, this one here. Okay, that's good. That's just this stuff here. We're good. Yeah, this stuff we can just store. Now, I need to go... Where is it? Of course, my view wouldn't be the same as, literally the same as everyone else's, but the vast majority, let's say, in countries with a system like that would say probably pretty much the same. But what I have seen here is a surge in politicians who would exaggerate, let's say, certain things and kind of go down that path, saying that reform this and reform that. But again, a country or a nation can be judged by how it treats its poor and its needy, you know. And I don't think, let's say, being overly generous to people who have more than they can ever spend is defensible when there's so many needy people. Oh, I forgot to sell that junk. Okay. But over the years I've seen people with certain views that once, let's say, they had to experience a certain situation, let's say, to, as the saying goes, walk a mile in someone else's shoes. Yeah, they really changed their opinion. So I suppose there's always a lot to learn. Something is not as obvious as it might seem, or what you've been told it is. You just have to experience it for yourself. It's not bad. Let's get rid of the other junk. But no, when anyone is unemployed, the vast, vast majority of people, yeah, they do feel that they're not contributing. And that's normal, No one wants to be like that, but sometimes, you've got no choice. And it's nice to know that, the rest of society, won't abandon you. That once you're, let's say, not a net benefit to the collective, that, you're not just cast aside like some injured ant in a colony, So there's solace in that. Ah, right. Just get rid of this junk. I 100% agree. Yes. I would have to 100% agree with that, Morgan. Like, we all change our opinions, and, as we get older, because if one never changed their opinion, we would still be stuck in the mindset of a preteen. And that's not a good place to be. We can all remember being teenagers and their views and opinions and things, and let's say they were way off base. Yeah, you see, if you have an opinion and it turns out to be wrong, and if you're not open to discussion on that opinion, how are you ever going to know? How are you ever going to know? This is how we learn, And if I've changed my opinions, obviously, and my views and things, and I think that's very, very normal, it depends on how much knowledge you have and, how susceptible you are, let's say, to propaganda, obviously. But yeah, I 100% agree. But someone who cannot listen to, someone else's argument, no matter how they don't kind of subscribe to it, yeah, if you're not prepared to listen, yeah, there's really there's no hope. I suppose the fear of people who, let's say, have a certain belief and they come across information or they see with their own eyes that maybe their belief is in question. I think they tend to do mental gymnastics to reinforce their own belief because, it's not nice to think that you believe something or you were kind of fooled, into believing something. And they tend to protect themselves. Personally, myself, if I'm proved wrong in my opinion with, the evidence I need, I'm quite happy, because that's someone doing me a favour, It's an opportunity to learn. Of course it is. Yes, we all make mistakes, but we all should learn. But the definition of madness is to literally keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. Obviously it wouldn't apply to everything, but I know where you're going, yeah. Like, I was having a conversation with a guy, much like I'm having a conversation with you. But he was absolutely anti-European Union. Now, I'm not 100% on board, don't get me wrong, with the European Union. There's some policies they have and, that are pretty good and some are questionable, But, we're kind of taking the good with the bad. But I can say that it's on the outlook of it, it's pretty fair. It's much better than the majority of systems that I see now. But he was saying he was North American, and we were chatting away. And then, he came out with, Brexit and, how the EU are punishing people and doing this and that. And I just simply said, well, the EU is an organisation that you join, and being joined in that you get certain benefits. But if you leave, you shouldn't expect the benefits. I said it would much like being, let's say, joined a gym and you're paying your fees, and then your friend left and wouldn't pay, but yet still expected the benefits. But then he kind of lost the plot, and he said, I'm British, and I said, well, you told me a moment ago that you were North American, and then he said, I'm dual, I'm British and North American. So then I thought that maybe, he was fibbing to me, and then he said, don't tell me anything about the EU. I know everything. So that was my cue then to stop the conversation. I would not waste my time speaking with someone that claims to know everything. The person who claims to know everything knows nothing and is not worth my time. No one should claim to know everything. Yes. Depends on who you are, Soundtrack. I can name countless people who have made mistakes over and over and over and over again. But it's up to you to learn from them, of course. But is it not an opportunity to learn, if you wish to take it? Opportunity being, a chance. Let's say if you have a certain argument and you're proved wrong, and let's say you're proved wrong, but you double down because you don't want to look like, that you had a false belief or premise on something. And then you would have an opportunity, let's say, to admit that and to admit to yourself. It depends, I suppose, on the situation. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, of course. Yeah. Yes. Well, willful ignorance is knowing, that you're wrong. I've seen willful ignorance time and time again. But let's say dropping the willful. Let's say you double down and you literally absolutely think that you're right. You know, like the saying, let's say, a wise man always doubts themselves, but a fool will be absolute, resolute in their belief. Hmm. Of course. Yeah. Yeah, the definition of insanity is to keep repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Yeah. It depends on the person and it depends on the opportunity, or whatever way. Again, I suppose it all depends on how you look at it. But we'd obviously all have, maybe different opinions on that, but the end result, would be the same. To learn. Yeah, oh yeah, of course. Which I was saying, it depends on the person. It depends on if you're willing to accept something. Lots of people are not willing to accept. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, but if it's your first time realizing, you know what I mean? If you're the kind of person that will accept it, if it's your first time to hear this argument, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of ways of looking at it, you know. If someone gave you, let's say, the evidence that you needed to change your opinion, and it was the first time they did it, and you accepted that opportunity, or if you were the kind of person that heard this argument before, but totally kind of pushed it under the rug because you didn't want to be wrong, and then you would be, willfully ignorant. Exactly, yeah. No, of course not, for many different reasons. Whether you're to accept that opportunity, and let's say the word experience itself is pretty vague. Maybe you haven't been given enough evidence, or maybe the guy, on the other side is absolutely wrong also. So it is subjective, guys. You know, we all have a kind of different way of looking at it. Now, okay, let's keep going. I've got a ton of stuff to store. And we need this stuff down here. Now, think we need this one up here. And I think we're pushing that somewhere else. Oh, of course, the books. The books. That one. Okay, we need to keep those ones. That one, that one. Okay. Oh, we're keeping those. Those books I definitely need. I can push those over later. We'll push them in here. Just a little bit of selling to do, and that should do me. We'll go to books. Croc's journal. Cities. Diary. That's good. And that. Oh, hang on. That one. So we just need to get rid of the top one. Okay. Okay, where's this fender? I think it's down the side. Here.
Take a look.
That should do, I'd say. Right, that's it. We've got everything, guys. Now all we need to do is park ourselves back at Lakeview. Yeah, one more here and we should be good. There, it's way past my time, guys. I'm almost at 7 hours. But I definitely need to get some sleep. So I think I will leave it here. Hang on, where's my cigarettes? I'll leave it here till... Yeah, I will be back Friday and Saturday. And we'll get some more of this done. But I think I need some rest. Yeah, I wasn't even scheduled to stream today, but, you know, I just couldn't sleep. And thanks for hanging out, Morgan. I appreciate it. I hope you have a good rest, and I hope you have a great day. Take care, and stay safe. Bye. And thanks for another king, Sandrick. Appreciate it. I hope you have a good one also. It's probably after 8 AM for you. I hope you have a good day. And what I'll do the usual thing. I'll get my phone ready. And yeah, we'll do a raid. Oh, my back. I shouldn't have standing up that quickly, maybe. Okay. There it is. Now we get that one up. So, and you too, Patch. Have a good one and stay safe. So, thanks for hanging out, guys. Thank you, Patch and Saldrick, Morgan, Suburban Werewolf, Young, and O'Keefe. Have a good one, guys, and take care. Also, Hufflepuff, Blonde, Granny Vats, Luna, and Terry. Take care, ladies. I hope you have a wonderful day. And also to Let me see. And thanks, of course, guys, for the raids and follows tonight. Appreciate it. I think we mentioned Keith. I hope we did. Yeah, I've got a bit of dry mouth. I have a cold, so I tend to splutter a little bit. And of course, Shoegaze fan. Have a good one. And Jambala, thanks for stopping by. And we mentioned Patch. And yeah. And thanks for stopping in. And Dish Eyeball. And let's see what else we have. Granny Vats. And of course Dark Rider, thanks again for that raid and stopping by, appreciate it. And you too, Tarek, have a good one. And of course to all the raiders, thanks guys for hanging out. And that's the one, I think. Yep, I think that's everything. Now, I might have forgotten someone. So if I have, my apologies to whomever I might have forgotten, and of course to everyone who was watching and lurking. Appreciate it, guys. So, without further ado, we'll have a look and see which of our friends are out there streaming, and yeah, we'll stop by and say hi. So I will be back for Friday and Saturday, so my streaming times are Tuesday, Friday and Saturday. This was, you know, an unscheduled stream, I couldn't sleep. So, yeah, I suppose I might do it tomorrow if I'm feeling well enough, but we'll see how it goes. But definitely Friday, Saturday. So, let's see who's streaming, guys.